WWE Crown Jewel 2025 delivered one of the most shocking, heart-wrenching, and meticulously executed betrayals in modern professional wrestling history. Paul Heyman, the self-proclaimed special counsel and arguably the most calculating mind in the industry, turned his back on Seth Rollins in a move that left fans, wrestlers, and WWE officials stunned. If you're not furious, devastated, or at least incredulous right now, you haven't fully grasped the magnitude of what just unfolded in the Saudi Arabian arena. There wasn't a simple storyline twist or a fleeting swerve. No, this was a carefully orchestrated masterpiece of deception, manipulation, and psychological warfare that had been months in the making, culminating in one of the most emotionally devastating moments in WWE history. Paul Heyman's masterclass in Betrayal, how Seth Rollins was outplayed. Paul Heyman's betrayal of Seth Rollins wasn't just a single act of treachery. It was the culmination of months of psychological manipulation, strategic deception, and meticulous long-term planning. For weeks, months even, Heyman had positioned himself as Rollins' most trusted advisor, guide, and advocate. He was the visionary behind the Visionaries' rise to dominance in WWE, providing advice, devising strategies, and seemingly investing himself fully in Seth's quest for supremacy. Every match, every promo, every backstage meeting was carefully choreographed to reinforce Seth's trust in Paul, to lull him into a false sense of security, and to ensure that when the ultimate betrayal came, it would strike at Seth Rollins' heart, both professionally and personally. Setting the stage, the betrayal occurred during what was supposed to be Seth Rollins' coronation moment. He was competing for the championship at Crown Jewel, a match designed to establish the Visionaries' dominance and cement Seth as WWE's undisputed top star. Paul Heyman was at ringside, ostensibly to provide guidance, encouragement, and tactical support. Fans and viewers assumed Paul's presence meant Seth had the perfect ally, someone who would safeguard him against any interference and help him secure a decisive victory. But WWE, as it often does, reminded us that trust is a fragile commodity, and the most devastating stories are built on its betrayal. The moment of betrayal. As Seth gained the upper hand in the match, delivering precise, methodical strikes that had long defined him as the architect, he glanced at Heyman for support. It was here that the unthinkable began to unfold. Paul Heyman's eyes met Seth's, and for just a split second there was a twitch of a smirk, not the smile of encouragement, but a smile of calculation and predatory anticipation. In that instant, the truth hit Seth like a thunderclap. He had been manipulated. Every word Heyman spoke, every plan devised for the Visionaries, had been part of a long con designed to position Seth at his absolute peak, only to have the ground ripped out from under him. Heyman reached into his jacket, and for a moment Seth feared he was about to receive some sort of weapon or distraction meant to ensure victory. But Heyman wasn't aiding him. He was signaling the next stage of his plan. He pulled out a phone, made a call, and calmly uttered the 4 words that would haunt Seth Rollins forever. "Brock, it's time now." At that moment, the arena went silent. Brock Lesnar's theme music hit, shattering the tension with a seismic energy only the beast incarnate can command. Brock had been absent for weeks, presumed to be on hiatus, but now he emerged not as a surprise entrant, but as Paul Heyman's renewed client, ready to execute the most devastating attack of Seth's career. The audience erupted into stunned disbelief. realizing that Seth's closest ally had orchestrated this entire scenario to bring Brock Lesnar back at exactly the right moment. Seth Rollins' shock and psychological collapse. Seth Rollins, still mid-match, froze. His mind raced, a mixture of confusion, disbelief, and horror. Paul Heyman, the man he trusted implicitly, had just abandoned him at the apex of his career, siding once again with Brock Lesnar, the man whose dominance and ferocity were legendary. As Brock charged into the ring, Seth attempted to fight back, but his strikes were disjointed, desperate, and lacking the precision that typically defined his style. Every move he attempted seemed to falter under the weight of psychological trauma, a vivid demonstration that the human mind can be more vulnerable than the body. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman stood at ringside, clapping slowly, his face reflecting a mixture of cold calculation and perverse satisfaction. The juxtaposition was striking. Seth was being beaten both physically and mentally, and Heyman's glee underscored just how masterfully he had engineered the entire scenario. Brock Lesnar's brutal execution. Once in the ring, Brock Lesnar unleashed a relentless assault. German suplex after German suplex, each one executed with a ferocity and precision that left Seth battered and gasping for air. The audience could sense the raw intensity, the emotional weight of the betrayal amplifying every strike. Lesnar's attack wasn't just about winning the match, it was about punishing Seth for being so thoroughly deceived, turning Heyman's manipulative genius into tangible, devastating consequences in the ring. Finally, the F5 landed, sending Seth crashing to the mat, unconscious. The arena went silent for a heartbeat before Paul Heyman entered the ring. Standing over Seth's prone body, Heyman delivered a promo that will be remembered as one of the most venomous in WWE history. Seth, Seth, Seth. Did you really think I was your advocate? Did you really believe Paul Heyman could abandon Brock Lesnar for you? I am Brock Lesnar's advocate. I have always been. I will always be. You were merely a pawn, a means to an end, a tool to sharpen Brock's dominance. Every strategy, every word, every plan, you were being set up to fall, and fall spectacularly. Heyman continued, tearing into Seth's psyche with surgical precision. Brock wanted a challenge. He wanted to face you at your peak, with confidence, with your faction behind you, with the illusion of invincibility. I went undercover. I infiltrated the visionaries. I built you up, made you believe in a vision, only to ensure the devastation would be complete. Tonight, you learned the harshest lesson in professional wrestling. Trust is a luxury, and I am its master. The symbolism of the betrayal. To drive the emotional dagger deeper, Heyman produced a shield vest from his jacket, the same style Seth had worn during his time with the faction that had defined him for so long. Remember this, Seth. Remember when you had brothers, when you were part of something real. You destroyed that. And tonight, you destroyed yourself by trusting me. Everything you've built, every dream, gone. This is the cost of misplacing your faith. He dropped the vest onto Seth's chest like a symbolic execution of both legacy and trust, then raised Brock's hand in victory. The visual, the special counsel, and the beast united once more over Seth's broken body was indelibly etched into WWE history. The fallout and implications backstage chaos ensued immediately. Members of the Visionaries rushed to ringside, only to find their leader in ruins and their supposed strategist revealed as a traitor. The faction was in crisis. Without Heyman's guidance, and with Seth emotionally shattered, The visionaries were suddenly vulnerable, their carefully constructed dominance threatened in a single night. Fans and analysts erupted on social media. The Paul Heyman betrayal trended worldwide, with debates over the genius versus cruelty of Heyman's long game dominating wrestling discourse. Comparisons to his past betrayals were inevitable. From CM Punk to other iconic wrestlers, Heyman's strategic mind had always been feared, but this may be his most devastating act of manipulation yet.